to bottom, everything we discussed along with the reasons, and we were discussing isoelectronic species, right? Okay, so what do you mean by isoelectronic species? Can anyone tell me what do you mean by isoelectronic species? Isoelectronic species. Okay, so the same, the different species, the different elements or ions, you know, which contain same number of electrons is called isoelectronic species. Okay, so let us discuss more things about isoelectronic species, and after that we will go for the next property, that is ionization enthalpy. Okay, fine. So isoelectronic species. So I gave its definition. They are nothing but the different ions with same number of electrons. With same number of electrons is called isoelectronic species. Okay, and now if I ask you to give examples, what examples can you give? Just observe this: F minus, O minus 2, N minus 3, Al plus 3, Na plus, Mg plus 2. Okay, so these are all of them, I can call them as isoelectronic species. See, their atomic numbers are different, right? But you count the number of electrons present in them, right? See, fluorine, normally it has atomic number 9. That means number of electrons are 9. But 1 minus is there, so we have to add 1 electron here. So the number of electrons in F minus would be 10. And similarly, oxygen. Originally, oxygen had 8 electrons because atomic number is 8. So minus 2, that means add 2 more electrons. So 8 plus 2, how much? 10. So O minus 2 ion also has 10 electrons. Nitrogen, atomic number 7. That means it actually has 7 electrons. But minus 3, add 3 electrons. 7 plus 3, 10. So this also has 10 electrons. And coming to the aluminium. Aluminium originally as a neutral atom, it will have 13 electrons because atomic number 13, right? So plus 3 in the sense, remove 3 electrons. So, 13 minus 3, you will have 10. So similarly, Na plus 10 electron species, Mg plus 2, 10 electron species. So different ions, actually their atomic numbers are different. So different ions, but all of them were having 10 electrons. So these are the examples of isoelectronic species. Okay, now if I ask you a question, which among them has more more ionic size? Here I have to talk about ionic size because all are ions. Okay, so which of them has more ionic size and which of them has least ionic size? So what is your answer? Okay, first answer me, which one has more ionic size? Which one has more ionic size? Some say aluminium and some are telling fluorine, nitrogen. Answers are very, very different. So more ionic size. See here, usually what's happening here is number of electrons same. Okay, but their atomic numbers are different, right? So what is the atomic number of fluorine? It is 9 and here it is 8. This is 7, this is 13, and this is 11, and this is 12. So atomic numbers of the element is different, but the number of electrons same. So as the atomic number increases in isoelectronic species, the size always decreases. Okay, so remember this concept. If you can remember this point, every competitive question that can be asked on this aspect can be answered. Okay, always size of isoelectronic species. Size of iso, you can note it down, electronic species is inversely proportional to atomic number. So actually what happens is Z effective increases here. Okay, so as the atomic number increases here, keeping the number of electrons constant, effective nuclear charge would be greater. We have discussed yesterday, if effective nuclear charge is greater, what would happen for the size? Effective nuclear charge means the attraction experienced by the valence electrons. If the valence electrons have nice attraction from nucleus, valence shell is pulled towards the nucleus. So automatically size decreases, right? So actually what is happening is effective nuclear charge is increasing. So, to make it much easier, say you may not, understand if I say effective nuclear charge increases, many of you. So in a simplified way, I am taking atomic number. Okay, so always size of isoelectronic species is inversely proportional to atomic number. Okay, so now more the atomic number, lesser will be the size of isoelectronic species. So here, if I ask you to arrange them in the decreasing order of size, if I ask you to arrange them in decreasing order of size, so how do you arrange? Which one would come here first? Decreasing order of size, arrange them. Okay, you know the concept. Size of isoelectronic species is inversely proportional to atomic number, right? So more the atomic number, lesser will be the size. Lesser the atomic number, more will be the size. So lesser atomic number is n minus 3, right? And after that comes your O minus 2, and later F minus, and after that your Na plus, after that Mg plus 2, and later aluminium plus 3. So this is the decreasing order of size. Okay, clear? So the main concept is this. So just when isoelectronic species size, they have asked you increasing order or decreasing order, increasing order or decreasing order. Okay, so always work out those questions based on this particular point. Okay, so always atomic number is inversely proportional to size of isoelectronic species. So that is our main concept. Okay, so here don't go for general size. Say normally speaking, S block elements, the elements which belong to S block will have a bigger size. Yes or no? Say that way, if I see magnesium, aluminium must have more size, you would think that way, but that's wrong. See, that is when the elements are neutral. Okay, when they are not there in the form of ions. Okay, say isoelectronic species is something different. You should not go on a general trend of atomic size. Okay, so isoelectronic species are the one which have same electrons. So here actually the positive charge is increasing as the atomic number increases. So more the effective nuclear charge, lesser would be the size. Okay, so that's why always the size of electronic species is inversely proportional to atomic number. So this is the point you have to remember if they ask you the size of isoelectronic species. Okay, so this is one of the very, very important concept from this chapter for competitive point of view. Okay, so ಈ ತರ isoelectronic species ಕೊಟ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಅವರು ಸೈಜ್ ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸಿಂಗ್ ಆರ್ಡರ್ ಆರ್ ಡಿಕ್ರೀಸಿಂಗ್ ಆರ್ಡರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅರೇಂಜ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಅಂತ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಈ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ನ ಇಫ್ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ರಿಮೆಂಬರ್, ನೀವು ಆ ತರ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ಗೆ ಈಸಿಯಾಗಿ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. Clear? Is the concept clear, everyone? If it is clear, we will go for the next concept, ionization enthalpy. Okay, okay, fine. So we will go for ionization enthalpy. So what do you mean by ionization enthalpy? Again, one more important concept from the chapter. Say actually, yes, if the competitive question has to be asked from a chapter, this is important, ionization enthalpy and atomic size most of the time. And not only for the competitive point of view, actually this concept is important to understand rest of the inorganic concepts. Okay, so rest of the inorganic chapters ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಈ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಂಗ್ ಇರಬೇಕು. right? So try to understand everything properly. There are so much of things to learn here. Ionization enthalpy. Okay. So what do you mean by ionization enthalpy? Or we can also call it as ionization energy or ionization potential, whatever. So what is this ionization enthalpy? It is nothing but energy required to remove an electron from outermost shell. Okay, from neutral gaseous atom. Okay, say I'll write the definition here. Energy required to remove outermost electron, in the sense valence electron, to remove outermost electron from neutral gaseous atom. Okay, so this is important to remember. If you have to remove an electron from outermost shell, you can remove only if the atom is neutral. Okay, and it must be in a gaseous form. Okay, so then such a energy required to remove outermost electron is called ionization energy. Okay, clear? See, normally there are so many chemical reactions that takes place by losing of electrons, right? Especially S block elements. Whenever they participate in chemical reaction, they lose electron. Okay, say they lose electron in the sense simply they can't lose the electron. Okay, say they won't tell, okay, outermost electron, you go for the reaction. You know, that way it doesn't happen. See, if you have to remove that outermost electron, you know, certain amount of energy is required. For some element, more energy is required. For some element, less energy is required. So with certain amount of energy only, you can actually remove that outermost electron. Okay, see, why do we say S block elements lose electron easily? See, here less energy, with less energy, you can remove the outermost electron easily. That's why we say S block elements lose electrons easily. Like simply they can't lose the electron. You know, even if they have to lose the electron, you know, energy is required from outside. Okay, so only when energy is supplied from outside, electrons from the outermost shells can be removed and can be used for the reaction. Okay, so such energy required to remove an outermost electron from neutral gaseous atom is called as ionization energy. Okay, and this ionization energy is always, like, you know, endothermic. You have to supply energy from outside. Okay, so that's why the values, ionization enthalpy values are always positive. Okay, the values are always positive, and the unit of ionization enthalpy is kilojoule per mole. This is what the unit we use for ionization enthalpy. Okay, and one more thing is, say imagine from the atom, okay, or from the metal M, you are removing the first outermost electron. You are removing the first outermost electron. Okay, say let me take one example so that you feel more easy. Okay, I'll take aluminium here. Okay, so can you write the electronic configuration of aluminium? Atomic number 13, isn't it? Electronic configuration 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, right? And 3s2, 3p1, right? So this is okay, concentrate this outermost electronic configuration. It is 3s2, 3p1. So which is the first outermost electron? This one. In the 3p orbital, whatever electron is there, no, that is the first outermost electron. That is the last electron, right? Okay, so now I am trying to remove this electron. Okay, I am trying to remove this electron. So whenever a metal loses first outermost electron, then this metal would become M plus. Yes or no? It will get converted into M plus. Okay, and the energy required to remove the first outermost electron is called ionization energy 1, or we will say first ionization energy. This energy is called first ionization energy, indicated as IE1. Okay, so what is first ionization energy? The energy required to remove the first outermost electron. Okay, so first outermost electron yaudili 3p subshell alliro electron. Okay, fine. So ivaga m plus inda, say now what is the electronic configuration of m plus? Can you tell me? Outermost electronic configuration, now it would be 3s2, right? So full electronic configuration baridre 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2. Now this electron was removed in the first step, right? So now m plus electronic configuration is 3s2, right? Now to remove again one of the electron from 3s subshell, now I want to remove second outermost electron. Okay, I am removing first outermost electron 3p subshell ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರೋದು, second outermost electron 3s subshell ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರೋದು. Okay, so to remove this electron again I need to spend some energy, and that energy, say I'm removing one electron from m plus, and what do I get? M plus will get converted as m plus 2, right? And energy required to remove the second outermost electron is called as IE2. This is called as second ionization enthalpy. Okay, see likewise again from m plus 2, if I have to remove one electron, you know, our m plus 2 will get converted into m plus 3, right? And energy required to remove ivaga m plus 2 the last electronic configuration is 3s1, right? If I have to remove the third outermost electron, again I need to spend some amount of energy, and that energy we will call it as IE3. Okay, select this. See, you can't remove all the 3 electrons at a time. See, ivaga Al lo what is the stable ionic form of Al plus 3, hauda? So Al would converted into Al plus 3 andre 3 electrons were removed from Al. Aa 3 electrons onde sala remove madakagalla, you can't remove them at the same time. Okay, so one by one you have to remove. First you have to remove one electron, first outermost electron. For that some energy is necessary, we call it as IE1. Okay, to remove the second outermost electron we call it as IE2. Okay, and to remove the third outermost electron we call it as IE3. Okay, like this all the 3 electrons in the aluminum one by one it will get removed with certain amount of energy. Okay, so removing electrons is always a stepwise process, theoretically speaking. Okay, so to remove a first electron, first ionization energy. To remove a second outermost electron, again some energy necessary, we call it as second ionization energy. To remove the third outermost electron, we call it as third ionization energy. Okay, so this IE1, IE2, IE3. So can you tell me which energy is greater? I mean, IE1, IE2, IE3, which of them is a greater? I mean, you have to spend more energy to remove which electron? First electron remove ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ more energy spend ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾ, second electron remove ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ more energy ಬೇಕಾ, or to remove third electron you require more energy? So which energy is more? Always removing the third electron is difficult, yes or no? Because you know, as you go from outside to inside, you know, the inner electrons are quite near to the nucleus, they will have nice attraction from the nucleus. So inner electrons to remove is very much difficult, right? So that means IE3 is much more greater than IE2. IE2 is greater than IE1. Okay, so what is the order here? This order is very important. IE3 is always greater than IE2. IE2 is greater than IE1. Okay, so this is one important order you all must understand for competitive point of view. Okay, so yavaglu IE3 andre ಏನು, much inner electron you are actually removing. Outermost shell alle irodu, but it is quite inner, right? It is quite near to the nucleus actually speaking, so that will have more attraction. So nucleus ಅಷ್ಟು easy ಆಗಿ ಅದನ್ನ ಬಿಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಕ್ಕೆ ಇಷ್ಟಪಡಲ್ಲ ಆ inner electron ನ. So ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಕಷ್ಟ ಪಡಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ, I mean more energy you have to spend to remove that electron. So always IE3 would be greater than IE2, and IE2 is always greater than IE1. Okay, so this is one important point. So like this, whenever you are removing many electrons, many outermost electrons from a particular element, it always happens in a stepwise, and for each step energy is required. To remove each electron, energy is required, and that's why we have IE1, IE2 and IE3. Okay, so this is the main concept of ionization energy. Okay, so ಇಲ್ಲಿ ionization energy ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿರಬೇಕು, and see, I just to make you easy nanond example tagondidini aluminum, okay na, otherwise it is a concept that you have to remove. ನೀವು electrons remove ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಹೋಗ್ತಿದ್ದೀರಾ ಅಂದ್ರೆ one by one remove ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ. first outermost remove ಮಾಡೋದು always easy, ಆ energy ನ IE1. second outermost electron ನ remove ಮಾಡೋದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಕಷ್ಟ, that energy is IE2. ಥರ್ಡ್ ಔಟರ್ ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಿದ್ಯಾ, ಇನ್ನರ್ ಶೆಲ್ಸ್ ಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಿದ್ಯಾ, ಅದನ್ನ ರಿಮೂವ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ ವೆರಿ ಡಿಫಿಕಲ್ಟ್. ಸೊ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ IE3. okay, it is a concept that you have to understand, right? Fine. And now let us discuss how does ionization energy varies from left to right in a periodic table and top to bottom in a periodic table. okay, so left to right ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಂಗೆ ionization energy ಗೆ why no video? Is video not coming? True? Video clear idya? Okay. So from left to right, from left to right in a periodic table, right in a periodic table. okay, so what will happen to our ionization energy? okay, so will our ionization energy increases or decreases? Ionization energy increases. Very good. Our ionization energy increases. okay, so can you tell me why our ionization increases? Because size decreases. What is the reason here? There are many reasons actually. Because size decreases. okay, so always remember, you know what, if you are okay with the atomic size, every other property, ionization energy agli, electronegativity agli, electron gain enthalpy agli, you can decide based on the size. okay, so here our ionization energy is always inversely proportional to size. okay, inversely proportional to size. clear? So whenever size decreases, our ionization enthalpy increases. okay, why? Because yes, Z effective increases. okay, see for example, you have a bigger atom. say our S block elements are bigger, right? So this is much bigger atom and this is much smaller atom. okay, so here in the third shell you have your valence electron, here in the second shell you have your valence electron. this is small size wise, if you say this is small and this is bigger atom, right? and which electron you can remove easily? Which electron you can remove easily? Definitely this electron, because this electron will have less attraction from the nucleus. okay, so effective nuclear charge experienced by this electron is very less. hauda? So hagagi, you know, you can remove this electron easily. You can remove this electron easily means what? With minimum energy. okay, with minimum energy you can remove this electron. okay, you no need to struggle too much. so energy required to remove this is much easier. okay, whereas this electron, it is very near to the nucleus. okay, and you don't have you know, a Z effective of this electron can be greater, right? so automatically this electron experiences more attraction from nucleus. so nucleus ee electron na bitkodake istapadalla, it has more attraction towards nucleus. so salpa, if you want to remove this electron, you need to spend more energy, right? so you have to struggle little to remove this electron. so that's why ionization energy is greater in this case, ionization energy is lesser in this case. so it always depends on a size and effective nuclear charge. okay, say if you can just know the relation with the size, you can answer most of the questions here. okay, so since from left to right our size decreases, so our ionization enthalpy increases. okay, size kadme ಆಗ್ತಿದ್ದಂಗೆ outermost electron ಅನ್ನೋದು gets attracted more towards the nucleus. so it's very difficult to remove such an electron. that's the reason ionization enthalpy would be greater in small elements. okay, so that is our concept actually. and coming to the top to bottom, right? from top to bottom, top to bottom, so what would happen for ionization enthalpy? Our ionization enthalpy enthalpy decreases. Okay, why it decreases? Because do you remember from top to bottom our size actually increases, right? Because size increases. Okay, if you take up the first group elements, so the first element is lithium, second element sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium, etc. Right? Say here you have only 2 shells. In the sodium you have 3 shells. Potassium has 4 shells, right? So the outermost electron you see as you go from top to bottom, outermost electron is somewhere very far. Okay, so that means that outermost electron is very far. It's not getting that much attraction from the nucleus. So automatically, you can easily remove that particular electron. Okay, that means you don't need to struggle too much to remove that electron. So little of energy is enough to remove electron from bigger atoms. So size increases, so our ionization enthalpy decreases. Okay, fine. So based on the size, like I told you what happens when you go from left to right and top to bottom, right? Left to right, ionization enthalpy increases. Top to bottom, ionization enthalpy decreases. This is general way. But there are certain exceptions. Okay. See, actually speaking, in the second period elements, what are the elements come under second period? Lithium, beryllium, boron, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine. Right. Say, what did I tell you? Our ionization enthalpy, increases, right, as you go from left to right. So what we will expect is, you see, you will find anomaly in these two guys. So actually speaking, according to your concept, oxygen must have higher ionization enthalpy than nitrogen, right? According to our concept, oxygen must have higher ionization enthalpy than nitrogen. But here, nitrogen has more ionization enthalpy than oxygen. You see the trend? Okay, what's the general trend? Left to right ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಂಗೆ ionization enthalpy increase ಆಗಬೇಕು. ಹಂಗಂದ್ಮೇಲೆ oxygen ಗೆ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ionization energy ಇರಬೇಕು compared to nitrogen. But trend opposite ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ. Nitrogen ಅಂದ್ರೆ all 15th group elements will have higher ionization enthalpy than oxygen. Okay, so why? What may be the reason? So ionization energy depends on certain factors also. So now we will study factors affecting ionization enthalpy. Okay, similarly the trend is different here also. Boron should have higher ionization enthalpy than beryllium. Okay, but beryllium has more ionization enthalpy than boron. Okay, so even in the second group and 13th group ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ trend deviation ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. Clear? So why these abnormalities, why these exceptions is because ionization energy not only depends on the size, it can depend on various other factors. So now we will study factors affecting ionization enthalpy. Okay, so let us see factors affecting ionization enthalpy. This is very important to understand, so try to listen carefully. Factors affecting ionization enthalpy. Okay, so the very first factor is, like I discussed just now, atomic size. Okay, so first factor that can affect ionization enthalpy is atomic size. Always our ionization enthalpy is inversely proportional to atomic size. This I have discussed, right? I'm not going into much detail, right? Okay, and the second factor that can affect ionization enthalpy is effective nuclear charge. Effective nuclear charge. Okay, and effective nuclear charge also, our ionization enthalpy is inversely proportional to effective nuclear charge. In short, we can write it as Z effective. Okay, fine. Sorry, effective nuclear charge. Okay, it is directly proportional. Z effective, right? Our ionization enthalpy is directly proportional to Z effective. Okay, so more the Z effective nuclear charge, more will be the ionization enthalpy. So more the Z effective means what? That valence electron is in much attraction with the nucleus. When something is in much attraction with the nucleus, you can't remove that electron that easily. That means more energy you have to spend, right? So our Z effective is directly proportional to ionization enthalpy. Okay, so remember. And the third factor is screening effect or shielding effect. Okay, screening effect. I told you yesterday what do you mean by screening effect or shielding effect, right? It is the repulsions between the inner electrons and outer electrons. Because of these repulsions, you know, the outer electrons will not experience that much attraction from the nucleus, right? So you know, how does our ionization enthalpy depends on screening effect or shielding effect? Directly proportional or inversely proportional? Yes, inversely proportional. Ionization enthalpy is inversely proportional to screening effect or shielding effect. Okay, and the last one, the last factor is penetrating power. Penetrating power. Okay, so what do you mean by penetrating power? Penetrating power is nothing but how closer the orbital or electron is present with the nucleus. Okay, so if any electrons are present in the orbitals, no doubt. If the orbitals are very near to the nucleus, from those orbitals, it will be very difficult to remove the outermost electron. Yes or no? It will be very difficult to remove the outermost electron. So if the orbitals are very much far away from nucleus, then from such a orbital, you can easily remove the electron. That means ionization energy will be very much less. So can you tell me which orbital can stay very much near to the nucleus? Which orbitals? Yes, P, D, F. 4 orbitals are there, right? So which orbital can stay very near to the nucleus? Yes, S orbitals are always very near to the nucleus. So penetrating power of S orbitals is always greater than P orbitals, then D orbitals and F orbitals. Okay, so penetrating power of S orbital is always greater. That means if you want to remove electron from S orbital, it's always difficult because S orbitals are very much near to the nucleus. Okay, if something is very much near to the nucleus, that will have more attraction from nucleus. So ಆತರ situation ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ದಾಗ electron remove ಮಾಡೋದು difficult. So you need to struggle. You need to struggle ಅಂದ್ರೆ you have to supply more energy to remove such an electron. Okay, so here our ionization enthalpy is directly proportional to, you know, penetrating power. Penetrating power andre it's very difficult to remove electron from S orbital compared to P orbital and etc. Right? So these are the various factors that can affect ionization energies that I discussed briefly here. Okay, so always atomic size, ionization energy is inversely proportional to atomic size, and it is inversely proportional to screening effect, directly proportional to effective nuclear charge and directly proportional to the penetrating power. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇವಾಗ ಒಂದು orbital ಎಷ್ಟು near ಇರುತ್ತೋ nucleus ಗೆ ಅದರಿಂದ I mean electron to remove from such an orbital would be very very difficult. Okay, so you know, our ionization energy depends on all these factors. And one more thing, one last factor, our ionization energy can also depend on electronic configuration. Electronic configuration, this is also very important to understand. Okay, say any element or any ion which is having a stable electronic configuration. When do you say the element has stable electronic configuration? When its configuration is similar to the noble gases, right? Also if the orbitals, if the outermost shells are half filled or fully filled, right? So when you have electronic configuration half filled situation or fully filled situation, then such electronic configurations are very very stable. Okay, and you know, when the situation is half filled or fully filled, you can't remove electrons from such condition. You require very high energy. So ionization enthalpy is very much greater for those elements which have half filled electronic configuration or fully filled electronic configuration. ಓಕೆನಾ. ಸೊ ಯಾವ್ಯಾವ ಎಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಹಾಫ್ ಫಿಲ್ಡ್ ಕಾನ್ಫಿಗರೇಷನ್ ಫುಲ್ಲಿ ಫಿಲ್ಡ್ ಕಾನ್ಫಿಗರೇಷನ್ ತೋರಿಸುತ್ತೋ ಆ ಎಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಇಂದ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ ನ ರಿಮೂವ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ವೆರಿ ಡಿಫಿಕಲ್ಟ್. ಸೊ ವೆರಿ ಡಿಫಿಕಲ್ಟ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅರ್ಥ ಏನು? ಮೋರ್ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಸ್ಪೆಂಡ್ ಟು ರಿಮೂವ್ ದ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್. That's why I'm telling you ionization energy would be greater. Okay, so all these factors would affect ionization enthalpy, right? So not just discussing the general trend from left to right ionization energy decreases ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದೀವಿ, but here and there are certain exceptions. The exceptions is due to ionization energy also depends on other factors, not only on a size, it also depends on the penetrating power, it depends on Z effective, it depends on screening effect, it also depends on electronic configuration. Okay, so considering all the factors you have to decide the answer. Clear? Fine. So now let us see what differences, what abnormalities you have in a general trend. Yes, energy, ionization energy required is very high to remove the electron from the element which has stable electronic configuration. Yes. Okay, so and as you go from left to right, normally I discussed our ionization energy. What happens? Increases or decreases? Left to right, our ionization energy increases, we have discussed. Okay, so but as I told you, you know, lithium, once again I'll write beryllium, boron, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, okay, and then fluorine. Fine. So boron must have, you know, more ionization energy compared to beryllium, but what is the sequence here? Here beryllium will have, here one abnormality, one exception you will find, beryllium will have more ionization energy than boron. Can you tell me what is the reason for this? Okay, normal agi helbeku andre ನಿಮ್ಮ ಬೋರಾನ್ ಗೆ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಅಯನೈಸೇಷನ್ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಇರಬೇಕು ಕಂಪೇರ್ಡ್ ಟು ಬೆರಿಲಿಯಂ. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಲೆಫ್ಟ್ ಇಂದ ರೈಟ್ ಗೆ ಹೋದಂಗೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಅಯನೈಸೇಷನ್ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಓದಿದೀನಿ ಜನರಲ್ ಆಗಿ. ಓಕೆ, ಬಟ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ವೇರಿಯೇಷನ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದೀನಿ. ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ವೇರಿಯೇಷನ್? ಆಲ್ವೇಸ್ ಯು ನೋ our beryllium will have more ionization enthalpy than boron. What may be the reason here? ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ electronic configuration ಬರೀರಿ. What is the electronic configuration of beryllium? 1s2 2s2, isn't it? Electronic configuration of boron 1s2 2s2 2p1, right? So ನೀವು penetrating power ಮೇಲೆ answer decide ಮಾಡಿ, right? So here what did I tell you? Which one has more penetrating power? S orbital or p orbital? S orbital or p orbital? Not fully filled, half filled. Okay, it's not a concept on half filled, fully filled. Here penetrating power mele this trend is lying. Okay, so s orbital has more penetrating power, andre s orbital is more near to the nucleus, isn't it? And here in the boron you are removing electron from, say, same shell. Illu outermost electron second shell alle ide, illu outermost electron second shell alle ide. Okay, but second shell alli outermost electron yava suborbital, yava subshell alli ide? S subshell alli. Illi outermost electrons yava subshell alli ide? P subshell alli ide. So tell me which is easy to remove? Electron of S shell, electron of S subshell, or electron of P subshell? Yeah, electron of P subshell is very much easier to remove, no? So that is the reason, you know, electron which is there in a boron can be removed easily. I mean, ionization energy is lesser for boron compared to beryllium. Okay, it is based on the answer. Why this difference has come here? Because it is based on penetrating power. It is based on penetrating power. Okay, so s orbital has more penetrating power than p orbital. So in beryllium your outermost electron is there in s orbital. Okay na? So s orbital is quite near to the nucleus, so it's very difficult to remove such an electron. ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಸ್ಪೆಂಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಬೋರಾನ್ ಗೆ ಕಂಪೇರ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಬೋರಾನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ outermost electron ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಶೆಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಇದೆ, ಬಟ್ ಪಿ ಸಬ್ಶೆಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಪಿ ಆರ್ಬಿಟಾಲ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ. ಪಿ ಆರ್ಬಿಟಾಲ್ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ದೂರದಲ್ಲಿರುತ್ತೆ ನ್ಯೂಕ್ಲಿಯಸ್ಗೆ, ಸೊ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ವೆರಿ ಈಸಿಯರ್ ಟು ರಿಮೂವ್ ದ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್, ರೈಟ್? ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಡಿಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಆಲ್ವೇಸ್ ಲೆಫ್ಟ್ ಟು ರೈಟ್ ಯಾವಾಗ್ಲೂ ಅಯನೈಸೇಷನ್ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸ್ ಆಗೋದಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಹಿಯರ್ ಅಂಡ್ ದೇರ್ ಸಮ್ ಎಕ್ಸೆಪ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಎಕ್ಸೆಪ್ಷನ್ ಈಸ್ ಬಿಟ್ವೀನ್ ಬೆರಿಲಿಯಂ ಅಂಡ್ ಬೋರಾನ್. ಸೊ ಕಂಪೇರ್ ಟು ದೀಸ್ ಟು ಗೈಸ್, ಬೆರಿಲಿಯಂ always has higher ionization enthalpy. Okay, again one more difference will come, that is here. Okay, so what did I tell you? According to the normal trend, your oxygen must have higher ionization enthalpy than nitrogen, because oxygen is less in size. Yes or no? It has less atomic size than nitrogen. So size less andre ionization enthalpy must be greater, right? So oxygen must have higher ionization enthalpy than nitrogen. But here also there is a deviation. But here nitrogen will have higher ionization enthalpy than oxygen. Okay, so what may be the reason for this difference? Okay, illu aste normal trend ulta agide. So what may be the reason for this thing? Nitrogen has more ionization enthalpy than oxygen. Yes, very good. Nitrogen's electronic configuration 1s2, 2s2, 2p3. Oxygen's electronic configuration 1s2, 2s2, 2p4, isn't it? Say, what did I tell you? The element which has half filled electronic configuration or fully filled electronic configuration is much stable. So those elements will not like to lose their electron because already they are stable. Nitrogen is very happy with whatever electrons it has. So it doesn't want to lose electron. It doesn't want to gain electron, actually speaking. Okay, so already stable agiro atom inda electron remove madbeku andre you are actually disturbing that atom stability, right? So that will not be allowed by the atom. So it will not like to give the electron easily. So a point of time alli ನೀವು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ energy you have to spend to remove such an electron. Okay, so because this is half filled electronic configuration, half filled electronic configuration, you know, electron to remove from this situation is very difficult. So nitrogen has more ionization enthalpy than oxygen. Not only nitrogen, oxygen, see this comes in 15th group and this comes in 16th group. All 15th group elements have more ionization enthalpy than all 16th group element. ನಾನು nitrogen oxygen ಬಗ್ಗೆನೇ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಇವಾಗ. next period ಗೆ if you go below nitrogen, which element would be there? Phosphorus would be there. Below oxygen, which element would be there? Sulfur would be there. ಇವಾಗ ಇವೆರಡರಲ್ಲೂ ಯಾವುದಕ್ಕೆ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ionization enthalpy ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ what is your answer? Among phosphorus and sulfur, which atom will have more ionization enthalpy? Yes, very good, it is phosphorus. Okay, so all 15th group elements will have more ionization enthalpy than 16th group elements. Okay, so the trend is not only for the second period elements, it's for the remaining periods also, as long as they are there in the same group. Clear? So all 15th group elements have more ionization enthalpy than 16th group elements. Okay, similarly here, okay, not only for beryllium and boron I am discussing, it's for all second group and 13th group compare madidre. Okay, so this is how our ionization energy also depends on various other factors, right? So and individually group wise go hodre, what we discussed group wise, when you go group wise, I mean from top to bottom, I discussed as ionization energy decreases, right? But adrallu in few of the groups there are differences. If you go for the 13th group, if you go for the 13th group, you know, 13th group elements, can you tell me? Boron, aluminium, gallium, indium, thallium. Okay, there is a difference in the ionization energy trend. Okay, it's not like boron has lesser ionization than aluminium. Aluminium has boron has more ionization energy than aluminium. Aluminium has more ionization energy than gallium. Itaralla. Okay, so here trend will be different. Actually, gallium has more ionization energy than aluminium. Okay, so group wise allu there are various other factors. So ಇಲ್ಲಿ screening effect ಅನ್ನೋದು ಬರುತ್ತೆ, everything. So when you study group wise chemistry, you will understand all of them. So general I am telling you, generally we say ionization energy increases from left to right, decreases from top to bottom, but in every group you have certain exceptions. right? So when you study about 13th group elements, right, in P block elements chapter, you will see why actually gallium has more ionization enthalpy than aluminium. It should have less, because top to bottom if you go, ionization energy decrease ಆಗ್ತಾ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕು. ಬಟ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ gallium ionization energy high ಇರುತ್ತೆ galliumಗೆ compared to aluminium. ಯಾಕೆ? ಅಗೇನ್ ಇಲ್ಲೂ ಡಿಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಥ್ಯಾಲಿಯಂ ಅಂಡ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಂ ಕೇಸಲ್ಲಿ ಉಲ್ಟಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ionization energy. You know, the reasons you would study in 13th group elements. Okay, like that. Just keep it in a mind that the trend is not always a general. Here and there are so many exceptions. Okay, fine. So this is all about ionization enthalpy. Okay. Does MG okay, fine. Okay, tomorrow we will discuss all sorts of a question. Just listen to the concept now. So one more property I want to complete today, that is electron gain enthalpy. Okay, so that is electron gain enthalpy. Gain enthalpy. So tomorrow we will discuss all the doubts. Just okay, just see the concept electron, yeah, electron affinity or electron gain enthalpy. So what is this electron gain enthalpy? This is also one of the very important concept. Try to understand. So how much is the time left for us? Okay, fine. See, electron gain enthalpy or electron affinity, as you said, it is also called as electron affinity. So it is just opposite to ionization enthalpy. Opposite to ionization enthalpy in the sense, see, I'll write the definition. Try to observe here. Energy released. Energy released. Okay, when an electron is added to neutral gaseous atom is called, that released energy is called electron gain enthalpy. Okay, ionization enthalpy ಏನಿತ್ತು, electron na remove ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ, outermost electron na remove ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ you require certain energy, right? That energy you called it as ionization enthalpy. Now this is opposite. So in case if you want to add electron to outermost shell, some atom is there, if you want to add electron to outermost shell, then that point of time energy would be released. Okay, energy would be released. Why energy is released, and I'll tell you, I'll discuss. So that released energy we will call it as, you know, electron affinity or electron gain enthalpy. Okay, say why energy is released here. Say for example fluorine is there, right? And this fluorine electronic configuration is, see, atomic number 9, electronic configuration 1s2 2s2 2p5, isn't it? Say if it can achieve noble gas electronic configuration, it becomes stable, isn't it? Okay, let me write the fluorine atom. This is the first shell which has 2 electron, and this is the second shell which has got the 5 electrons, 1 2 3 4 5, right? Say this fluorine can become stable when its electronic configuration is something like this, right? Yes, so this is neon's electronic configuration. Fluorine no neon's electronic configuration na achieve ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ, then our fluorine becomes more stable. So it always reacts in that way. It always wants to gain 1 electron, because if it can gain 1 electron, you know, it achieves its nearest to noble gas electronic configuration. So it happily accepts that electron. So if any electron is there, that electron, you know, can easily be accepted by fluorine atom because it wants 1 electron. Okay, so it feels very happy and it shows its happiness with the liberation of energy. Okay, so when an electron you add to the outermost shell, if that electron is very nicely accepted by the nucleus, if that electron is very nicely accepted by the atom, then that point of time always energy will be released. Okay, so whenever an electron is nicely accepted by a particular atom, then in that case electron is released. Okay, in which of the situation electron can be nicely accepted by the atom? The situation where if it can get that electron, it is becoming stable, then in that situation a particular atom can nicely accept a electron, right? One electron ತಗೊಳ್ಳೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಅದು stable ಆಗ್ತದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ it will happily accept the electron. So when something is happily accepting an electron, then in that case energy is automatically released. Okay, so every atom case allu energy release ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಏನಿಲ್ಲ. Okay, say for example our neon is there. Neon is there, it is already having a stable electronic configuration, and if you want to put the electron in the neon, will it accept? No, it says that I am happy with whatever electrons I have, I don't want any extra electron, just go away, it will tell, right? Say ivaga energy release agodu annodu, it depends on the electronic configuration of element, it also depends on the size of the element. Okay, if the atom is smaller, then the added electron can get attraction from the nucleus. When the added electron is getting attraction from the nucleus, then only energy can be released, right? ಇವಾಗ ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇರೋ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ ಗೆ ನ್ಯೂಕ್ಲಿಯಸ್ ಇಂದ ಅಟ್ರಾಕ್ಷನ್ ಸಿಕ್ಕಿದ್ರೇನೆ ಅದು ಆ ಶೆಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಇಲ್ಲಾಂದ್ರೆ ಆ ಹೊರಗಡೆಯಿಂದ ಬಂದಿರೋ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ ಆ ಶೆಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರಲ್ವಲ್ಲ, ಇಟ್ ವುಡ್ ಗೋ ಅವೇ, ರೈಟ್? So ivaga if the atom is smaller, then only the outsider electron will get nice attraction from the nucleus. Okay, so avaga matra energy annodu release agutte. Okay, you should also keep it in a point when the energy is released and when the energy is not released. Okay, energy is released only when on getting that electron, if it is achieving stability, in that case energy is released, otherwise energy is not released. Okay, so I'm telling you a core concept, it's very important to understand the concept. Okay, so energy ಅನ್ನೋದು ಯಾವಾಗ್ಲೂ ರಿಲೀಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಏನಲ್ಲ, ಯಾವ ಸಿಚುವೇಶನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ರಿಲೀಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅನ್ನೋದು ವೆರಿ ವೆರಿ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್. ಆ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ ತಗೊಳ್ಳೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಅದು ಸ್ಟೇಬಲ್ ಆಗ್ತಿದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ಆ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇರೋ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ ಗೆ ನ್ಯೂಕ್ಲಿಯಸ್ ಇಂದ ಅಟ್ರಾಕ್ಷನ್ ಸಿಗ್ತದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ಆ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತ್ರ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಲಿಬರೇಟ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. Okay, so since energy is released, then is this exothermic or endothermic? Will the values have negative values or positive values? See, electron gain enthalpy can be endothermic or exothermic. The process is endothermic or exothermic. It can be both, it depends on the element to element. Okay, now so it can have positive values or it can have negative values. Okay, so we say if the value is exothermic, then what does we mean? That the energy is released anta heltivi. Okay, so yavag energy release agutte, it depends on the element. Namage size small irbeku, avaga incoming electron will get nice attraction from the nucleus, isn't it? So usually it will be released energy most of the cases. If the energy is released, then we say electron gain enthalpy is higher. Okay, so if the energy is released, then we say electron gain enthalpy is higher. Clear? So like that, even endothermic process agbodu andre, say for example some atom is already say for example you have so many shells and you are putting electron to the outermost shell. ಇವಾಗ ಒರಿಜಿನಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಈ ಶೆಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ರೈಟ್? ಅಂಡ್ ದೀಸ್ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ ನಾಟ್ ಗೆಟಿಂಗ್ ಎನಫ್ ಅಟ್ರಾಕ್ಷನ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ದ ನ್ಯೂಕ್ಲಿಯಸ್. ದೆನ್ ಔಟ್ಸೈಡ್ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ ಹೌ ವಿಲ್ ಇಟ್ ಗೆಟ್ ಅಟ್ರಾಕ್ಷನ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ನ್ಯೂಕ್ಲಿಯಸ್? ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಆ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ ಆ ಶೆಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರಕ್ ಇಷ್ಟಪಡಲ್ಲ, ಈ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ರಿಲೀಸ್ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. Okay, the atom is not happy to accept this electron. Okay, the atom is not happy to accept this electron. So here forcibly ನೀವು ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ ನ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಇಡಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. So forcibly electron na ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಇಡಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ you need to spend some energy. So in this situation our electron gain enthalpy can be endothermic also. So ಈ ಸಿಚುವೇಶನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಆಟಮ್ ತುಂಬಾ ಬಿಗ್ ಇದೆ, ಸೊ ನೀನ್ ಔಟರ್ ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಶೆಲ್ ಗೆ ಒಂದು ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ ನ ಆಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದೀಯಾ, ಆ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೀನು ಫೋರ್ಸಬಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ ನ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂಡ್ಸ್ಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಅದೇನ್ ಹ್ಯಾಪಿ ಆಗಿ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ ಶೆಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಗೆಟಿಂಗ್ ಎನಫ್ ಅಟ್ರಾಕ್ಷನ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ನ್ಯೂಕ್ಲಿಯಸ್, ರೈಟ್? ಅವಾಗ ನೀನು ಎನರ್ಜಿನ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಈ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ ನ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂಡಿಸ್ಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಆ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವೇನ್ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ, ದಿಸ್ ಈಸ್ ಎಂಡೋಥರ್ಮಿಕ್. Okay, so hagagi electron gain enthalpy values can be endothermic or exothermic. It depends on the situation. It actually depends on atom to atom. Okay, fine. So ivaga general agi, if I have to tell what happens for electron gain enthalpy from left to right in the periodic table, left to right in the periodic table, what will happen for electron gain enthalpy? Okay, will it increase or decrease? Illi increases andre having negative value. Okay, increases means having negative value, decreases means having positive value. Remember, having a negative value means increases, electron gain enthalpy increases. Having a positive value means electron gain enthalpy decreases. Okay, fine. See one point, if you are getting confused, ನೀವು focus on this point. Always electron gain enthalpy, okay, is inversely proportional to sorry, okay, so let me tell you this way. As you go from left to right, what will happen for the size? What will happen for the size? Size will always decrease. Size will always decrease. Okay, that means the rightmost elements have the smaller size. What I told you, if the size is small, ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇರೋ electrons ಗೆ nice attraction ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ nucleus ಇಂದ, that point of time energy will be released. Okay, so energy released ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು? You know, it actually increases, right? So that means our electron gain enthalpy value increases. I mean, it becomes more negative. If you are getting confused, you can write this way. Okay, our electron gain enthalpy value becomes more negative. Electron gain enthalpy values becomes more negative. Okay, so from left to right, our electron gain enthalpy values become more and more negative, more and more negative. Okay, because size always decreases. Size decreases as if the atom is very small. Okay, atom is very small, ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇರೋ electrons ಗೆ place ಕೊಡಬಹುದು, and that outsider electron will get nice attraction from nucleus, then energy would be released. Okay, so from positive to negative values, your electron gain enthalpy will become the electron gain enthalpy values would become positive to negative values. Okay, so this is important to remember. Left to right ಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಂಗೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ electron gain enthalpy values positive ಇಂದ negative values ಕಡೆಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. Okay, positive values to negative values. Okay, fine. And now from top to bottom, what would happen? From top to bottom, the values would become positive to negative or negative to positive? Top to bottom in the periodic table. Okay, our say top to bottom, what will happen for the size? Size always increases. Size always increases. Okay, so that means the elements which are present at the top are smaller in size. So smaller atoms means energy is always released. That means your electron gain enthalpy values are becoming negative to positive. Negative to positive. Okay, so that means your electron gain enthalpy values are decreases. Okay, so electron gain enthalpy value decreases. In other words, I can say the values are becoming from more negative to positive. Yakandre topmost elements are much smaller in size, no, bottommost elements are bigger in size. ಹೌದಾ? ಸೊ ಸ್ಮಾಲರ್ ಆಟಮ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೊರಗಡೆಯಿಂದ ಬಂದಿರೋ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ ಗೆ ಮೋರ್ ಆಕ್ಸೆಪ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ನ್ಯೂಕ್ಲಿಯಸ್ ಇಂದ, ಸೊ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಇಸ್ ರಿಲೀಸ್ಡ್. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಯೋರ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಸ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿಕಮ್ ನೆಗೆಟಿವ್ ಟು ಪಾಸಿಟಿವ್. ನೆಗೆಟಿವ್ ಟು ಪಾಸಿಟಿವ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ decreases. So from top to bottom, electron gain enthalpy decreases. From left to right, electron gain enthalpy increases. Okay, so electron gain enthalpy increases from left to right. Electron gain enthalpy decreases from top to bottom. In other words, from top to bottom, the values are becoming negative to positive. From left to right, the values are becoming positive to negative. Okay, so this is a very much conceptual concept. You need to understand it carefully. Okay, so related questions, both ionization enthalpy, electron gain enthalpy melee questions we will discuss tomorrow. And tomorrow we will also discuss about electronegativity and metallic character. Okay, so thank you so much. Tomorrow we will meet up, and this weekend you have both chapters, chemical bonding as well as periodic table. Okay, bye everyone.